Good to see everybody again. This past week, we entered a much-needed bye week. I think our young men have done a great job of preparing and, more importantly, getting back, trying to get back as healthy as we could. We had some bumps and bruises, some guys that were out that would have potentially not been able to perform this past week that are, getting treatment and making sure that we get those guys back. And not only them, the rest of the team just getting their legs back under them, kind of in the middle of the year, middle of the season. It's much needed. So thought we had a great week of preparation. Allowed us to have 3 extra days to prepare for a challenging and really quality opponent in Army. Really like the things that they're doing overall as a football team. Coach Monk has them, playing hard, very much improved, and the challenges they cause offensively, obviously forcing you to be extremely disciplined. And the thing that I've been most impressed with is just watching their defense, how they're playing. They're one of the top defensive units by numbers in the country, and they cause a lot of problems within your run game. So it'll be a fun and exciting challenge, and we got to do and continue to have a great week of preparation and make sure this Saturday we're 2 weeks better. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
What's the challenge? Talk about the challenge of facing a triple option team like Army, especially when the new defense that you guys are running this year.
Yeah, the issue shouldn't be issues. The challenges are, one, you don't see it much, so it's kind of getting to where a lot of times in a short week, or if you only have 1 week to prepare, seeing all the different reads and making sure your fits, and you have to be extremely disciplined. You have to have your eyes in the right spot, and then, as soon as they are, you better be careful because a play action's coming, and if you're not careful, people be running wide open. And so we just got to make sure that it has been good that we've had a few extra practices. So this week coming up, with today's practice, it won't be anything new. More just refining and getting better at our technique versus what they're showing us. And you just got to be disciplined. And they cause some issues, and it's very challenging. But with Coach Eck, Coach Ref, and the rest of the defensive staff, I can promise you they're excited about the challenge. They love preparing, game planning, and they're excited about it.
How important was the extra week to watching film on Army and finding out those reads about their triple option?
Yeah, it was great. It was really fortunate to have that off week, leading into a game again for the same reasons that you just don't see it a lot. It's a different style of play, and they play physical. So again, you got to make sure we're getting lined up properly, and everybody's got to be disciplined. Everybody's got a job to do, and you can't play with 10. You can't play with 8. You got to make sure you're playing with all 11, and they have to do their job, and you can't try to do someone else's job, especially in a system like this, to where just one guy out of place, you'll get hit for a big one. So you just got to be disciplined.
What makes Army such a good team defensively? I mean, they're right at the top of it.
Well, first thing you look at, they don't let you run the football. I think they're number 2 in the country overall in run defense, and they do a great job of muddying up your zone game. And I'll tell you what they are, and it doesn't surprise me because of how they play offensively and how they prepare against each other, is they're extremely disciplined at what they do. They're not out of gaps. They know where their fits are. It's hard to get their eyes out of the wrong, out of position, and they play extremely hard. Their safeties they're going to add numbers in the box with their safeties and different pressures. It's very similar to what we see on a daily basis versus our defense, and there's a reason why they're good at what they do. But it's no different for our offense as same as our defense. You got to be extremely disciplined and making sure you're on your tracks, and because they'll twist and stunt and blitz and, again, add safeties to your run game. So we got to do a good job of making competitive plays in the run game, and our O-linemen got to get off the ball and hopefully get some push. And our running backs is not going to be clean all the time, so they're going to have to break tackles and make sure that they're highly competitive.
Yeah, if you guys bumped up going into the bye week, do you feel like those guys are going to be ready to go this week?
For the most part, there's still a couple questionable, but as the week goes on, we'll kind of see how where they end up. I know they've been working extremely hard with our training staff of getting back there. Some of them will be questionable game time decisions.
How does a 3-3-5, the defense that you're playing, match up with an option type offense?
Well, I think, again, it's what you do in your system. You fit it to what you have to do, whether it's a 4-man front, whether it's a 3-man front. You gotta, it's the same thing. It's just knowing your scheme and knowing what fits best against what they do. So whether you're a 3-man, 4-man, you gotta make it work. And again, I don't think that's as important as where your eyes are at, where your discipline's at, making sure you have everybody has a job to do, and they each got a responsibility, and it's crucial, again, that they do their job.
You only allowed 13 rushing yards last week, which is, a tremendous performance by your guys' defense. What did you guys do so well in that game, and is there anything you can carry forward from that to this week?
Well, they did a tremendous job, I think, of scheming up their run game. And very similar to, again, what Army does. They play heavy techniques, and guys were in position, and our guys were disciplined enough to be in positions and in their gaps to where when it did come to them, they made plays. We did a much better job of tackling overall as a defense. I thought it was our most complete game as a defense. And again, our safeties were getting involved, and they've had a lot of production, and just some of the pressure and the run stoppers that we were doing, we're getting home. So overall, I just thought they did a great job of preparing, and they played discipline.
You've shuffled around your offensive line a couple times this year, but it seems like they've kind of found a rhythm. Do you feel like that's the case, that the offensive line is starting to come together now?
Yeah, I think we get better each week. There's no doubt with that. We had a much better day of running the football, and again, I've said that's key to making sure we have good balance in the run game, because it just helps so much with the other things that we do. So I think they're getting better each and every week. We challenge them each week like we do all positions, and they've responded well. Again, we got to continue to build continuity and chemistry within that unit, and I think Coach Davis is doing a great job with those young men, and we're continuing to get better. At the end of the day, offensively, we just got to be more consistent overall, and that's every position.
Why is it so tough to find that consistency with these guys?
Again, some of it's youth, some of it's continuity. Just being playing with those 5 guys and making sure that you trust the guy sitting next to you, which, again, you have to earn that. And the more you play together, the more it becomes easy. So, again, I could sit up here and tell you a lot of things. At the end of the day, you just got to get a week better. You got to get a day better. And it's just reps and constantly over and over repping those things. And again, as coaches, just making sure that we're putting them in good situations. Thought we did a much better job of that in the run game this past week.
You're at the midpoint of the season. At this point, just kind of evaluate where your team is in relation to what your expectations were to be at this point.
I have high expectations going into every game. By the end of the week, there hadn't been a game that I didn't feel like we were going to go in there and compete and have success and win the football game. So my expectations haven't changed, and I know our team, I think their expectations are growing as they gain confidence, understanding that if you prepare the right way and do what you're coached to do, you have an opportunity to have success. That gives you the opportunity. The one thing we've talked about, as a unit, as a team, is, the one thing that the standard they've really set is how they play, and that was crucial. Is I haven't came in here after one football game and questioned effort, questioned strain. So that's one of the standards. So now that we know that's a standard, we'll keep building on that and keep growing. Because at the end of the day, it gives you a chance to be in every single game when you do that. even with making mistakes, overcoming adversity, you strain hard enough and you play hard enough, you should have a chance to win the football game. So that's one thing I've been pleased with. The things that we still need to continue to work on, and we talk about every week, is just consistency. We just have to be more consistent and keep preparing, keep working hard. And I still don't think we've played on all three phases together a full game, which isn't easy. Obviously, it's never going to be perfect. But I think once it all comes together and you can, you're consistent all three phases in a game, that's when you'll really start having a lot of success.
How do you feel the guys have grasped onto the new schemes, both sides of the ball?
Good. I think they're more comfortable every week. Guys are growing up. Some guys are maturing, which helps. And I think that part of it's been good. We've had success. We've had success in all three phases at some point. We need to be a little bit more consistent overall.
You guys have found a lot of success running the ball. Army runs a triple option. Do you expect this to be kind of an old school, hard-nosed football game?
Well, you're going to have to be physical in this game, there's no doubt. That's something we preach every week, and the more physical we can be, week in, week out, the better we end up playing. And, there's a reason why when we run the football like we do, we win football games. So we're going to continue to stress that. Again, this week's important. Again, playing a team like Army, old school, it's not old school, it's physical. They're going to chew up the clock, and what that does is you're going to have to stay patient. You're going to have to, don't get frustrated, because they're going to get theirs running the football. But you still got to continue to do your job and not get frustrated with it, because eventually you make enough good plays, should get them off the field. Offensively, it's really no different than it is for our defense. It can get frustrating for an offense because you're not going to get as many possessions. You're looking at they're averaging on defense, I think, 55 plays a game, which is not very many. You're looking at maybe 8 possessions, 8 to 10, if you're lucky. And so it's crucial that you stay on the field when you got the opportunity to score points. You can't have many mistakes. So it's got to be extremely important that everybody, again, is doing their job on a consistent basis. If there's one week that's crucial, especially, it's this one.
Does the level of competition in the second half of the season potentially go up as you look ahead? You've got a good Army team. There's 3 teams out there, other teams out there, 2-1 in conference play on the west side. Do you think the competition gets a little bit tougher here in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know. I know who we have, but I don't know kind of where they fall. Other than I know Army's this week. Yeah, I mean, it's going to get better each and every week. Not one for biggest reason is everybody's getting a week better. They're preparing, they're getting more comfortable, and a lot of these teams will get better every single week. So, and again, I say it, there's a lot of good football teams in Conference USA. I think there's a lot of parity, and each and every week, if you're not ready to play, and you've seen it, if you're not ready to play in this league, you're probably not going to win. So, yeah, the competition gets bigger, but gets better, but so do we. And that's what we're continuing to stress with our guys. Are we getting a week better? Are we getting a day better? And our preparation has to be better every single week, which it has. And we just got to continue to build on it.
Jalen Jenkins started for the first time last week and really came through for you. Got the interception at the end of the game. Has he kind of been, on the rise here as a player here?
Yeah, he's done some really good things, and the thing you love about him is he's competitive. He doesn't, he's not one of those guys who stresses when the ball's in the air. He's getting more consistent, within the scheme and knowing what to do, which takes time. He was a later guy that got here, wasn't as early as some of the other ones. But he's doing a good job out there. He's making some plays, and I think he'll get better and more comfortable as it goes, just like everybody else. The more you're out there and playing, the more consistent you'll become. But I thought he had a good night. They made some plays on us in the secondary at times, But those guys stayed patient and understood that they're going to make a competitive play. And there at the end, that was a great job, on the pick and returning it for a touchdown. And it was a crucial play in the game.
Is he a guy that's got a lot of potential as you guys move forward as a program?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think he has the potential to be a really good football player for us. The thing, again, he's a great teammate. If you're around him, he's one of those guys that he's kind of infectious. He makes you smile because he loves the game. So there's no doubt in my mind he'll continue to grow, and I think he'll be really good for us.
It's been a long route to get here from New Orleans to California, and bounced around, and was committed to another school and ended up coming here. You think he just kind of appreciates the opportunity finally to get to a
I think
place?
he loves football.
Yeah.
There's some of those guys wouldn't have made it. They get either frustrated or, maybe lose focus because of a lack of getting where you want. But again, he's one of those guys that he knows what he wants and he loves his game, and that's why it's fun to be around him. And that's why I'm happy for his success. And again, he still has a long way to go, and he's going to continue to. One thing about him, he's going to continue to get better because he's going to work his tail off to do it. And so, I'm excited about him.
Good. Thanks,
Good.
Coach.
Thank you all.